Welcome to the December 18th regular meeting of your Board of Trustees. To honor our nation's heroes and especially to honor the men and women in uniform who serve and protect our community, please rise with us and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Fitzgerald, may we have the roll call, please?
Certainly, Madam President. Trustee Hansen?
Here.
Trustee Timmick?
Here.
Trustee Allen?
Here.
Trustee Rudolph?
Here.
Trustee Sifferman?
Here.
Trustee Tyrrell?
Here.
All present.
Having read the agenda, does any trustee have any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda? Okay, moving on, the report of interference testing. That would be Trustee Allen, I believe.
I will defer the report on interference testing to Director Super, if I may.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we don't have a formal report completed for the interference test, as we mentioned. We are anticipating that to be completed probably in early January. We did complete the interference tests for both of our wells about a week ago. Both the preliminary results that we saw when we talked to the engineer were extremely positive for both of the wells. At this point, we don't anticipate any issues that we could then. The results that we see affecting the decision that the board's going to be about tonight.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions of Director Super? So when you say very positive, can you elaborate on that a little bit, please?
Sure. So the basis for the test that we were doing was to see how the wells would recover after use. They were run independently from each other, and the measurement to basically see how the levels in the aquifers would recover once they were shut down. In both cases, we saw very quick recovery rates in the wells, nothing that indicated any sort of long-term problems with the construction of the new well and so on.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody? All right, moving on. Now, Trustee Allen.
Thank you, Madam President. So on our agenda is consideration of a motion to direct village staff to move forward with the design and construction of a new well number 5. We've talked about this on multiple occasions at both the staff, commission, committee, and at the board level. The last remaining item, or I should say one of the last remaining items, was the interference testing, which we just heard a preliminary update from Director Super. If I may, though, I would like to give just a little bit of context on this vote and then ask if there's any questions, and then we can proceed with the vote. So what this is really to provide solid and clear direction to staff to proceed with well number 5. It's a response to residents that we have a plan to address issues from the last 2 water issues that we had over the previous 3 years. And it's a heads up to residents that our water rates will be going up. Not known the exact amount yet, but it is just providing everyone a heads up. What this vote tonight is not, though, it's not a contract for construction. It's not a contract for engineering. Those will go through our normal processes. We do not yet have a solid timeline for how long this will take. That will be developed as staff engages with some of our vendors to develop that engineering plan. It's also not a financing plan. We talked about that previously in trying to pursue IEPA loan funding. And for those interested in discussing well number 1, we will, doing that both well number 1 and number 5, we will have a chance to take another bite of that apple at some time in first half of 2018, once we get a little bit more information on these timelines and the financing. And finally, as we've talked previously, this I think is a huge step forward in terms of addressing issues we have when we have water problems with the poor quality that we get with well number 1 untreated, but it's not 100% cure-all. So some of the distribution challenges we have will not be solved by having a new well number 5, but it does give us a lot of safety and backup and add some additional capacity. So with that sort of pretext, I just want to see if anyone had any other final comments or not before we proceed. Well, I guess I'll have to make a motion and then second the motion, or someone will need to second, but just wanted to see if there's any other thoughts or comments that people had before we move forward.
Trustee Allen,
sure.
You mentioned a number of items that this is not.
Yes.
But it sure sounds like this is a proactive step in the right direction. And that's how I interpret it. And I think that's a prudent way to move at this point.
Thank you. That is a good clarification. I was just trying to say we're not
Sure.
completely done with this yet, but it is a really solid step forward. That is true.
Again, so everyone knows, how long will it be before well number 5, if we do go through with it, is up and running time-wise? Was it 18 months? Or do we know?
That's
At
estimated.
this point, we do not know. That's why we need to meet with the engineers to develop a timeline for this.
So we don't have an estimation, we'll just have to,
Nothing that I
Okay.
can confirm at this point.
So what this is tonight is giving the staff, giving staff the direction to move forward so that
Right.
these specific questions can be answered.
That's right. And that may require incurring some additional costs as staff works with our different providers to develop those plans. So.
And I think, just as we've discussed in the past too, that as those plans are solidified, we intend then to communicate to the residents so they can understand, just as you've pointed out, what this is not, but also what it is and what it solves, or exactly the positives that we are looking to achieve out of this. But making clear the difference between the source as well as you mentioned, to the distribution, that'll all be part of a plan we're able to communicate.
That's right, and I think we also talked about that, and plus, some of the sewer issues, and really kind of comprehensive what we're doing to address some of our infrastructure needs over the long term. So, yes, thank you.
Step in the positive direction.
Okay, well, with that, I would like to make a motion, please, to direct village staff to move forward with the design and construction of a well number 5.
I will second.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Certainly, Madam President. Trustee Hansen.
Aye.
Trustee Timick.
Aye.
Trustee Allen.
Aye.
Trustee Rudolph.
Aye.
Trustee Sifferman.
Aye.
Pardon me, Trustee Terrell.
Aye.
All in favor, including President Gallagher?
We're all set. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. Okay, so that motion carries, and now staff has the direction to move forward. Thank you
Thank
very much. And moving on to new business, Trustee Timick?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. One item to cover tonight, and it's because we're under a time constraint, but in order to comply with some new Illinois state law around sexual harassment, we need to update our policy around this topic, and the language that would change in our law book or rules and ordinances is included in the packet for everybody to review. But the idea will be here to vote on this in the first meeting in January in order to meet a deadline of January 16th.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I understand this is mandated by the state. We have a policy in place that's a good policy, but in order to completely comply with these new mandates, it's kind of a housekeeping matter to just change our language a little bit. I fully expect we will never have to refer to this particular provision within our policy, but.
Correct, and there'll be some training then for the village employees, and also then includes in the language around whistleblowers and false claims as well too. So it's not just about necessarily dealing with sexual harassment, but people that make false claims about that as well.
Okay, thank you. Did you?
I just wanted to say that we've had this policy for years at the Village of Western Springs, and we have also done training for years, so others are catching up to us.
Thank you. Okay, great. So that'll go on the first meeting in
We'll have
January
a
for a
vote
vote.
that night, yes.
Anybody have any questions regarding the policy? Okay. Moving on, we'll move on to citizens' comments. This is where we open up the meeting to the public. Is there anyone in the audience tonight who wishes to address the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to the omnibus. The Illinois state statutes allow a municipality to collectively vote on a group of ordinances, resolutions, and other motions, such as awards of contract, appointments, etc. This is known as an omnibus vote. All the items contained on the omnibus vote list have been previously discussed by the President and Board of Trustees on at least one occasion, and often on several occasions. By placing them on the omnibus vote list, a single vote may be taken to approve them. A trustee may remove any item from the list and have it discussed and voted on separately prior to the omnibus vote. Is there any such request? Hearing none, Trustee Timmick.
President Gallagher, I move that the following ordinances, resolutions, and motions as contained on the meeting agenda for December 18th, 2017 be adopted and/or approved under an omnibus vote. Agenda item number 3, approval of minutes of the meetings of November 27th and December 4th, 2017 as read. Agenda item number 4, ordinance number 17-2907, directing the Cook County Clerk's Office to reduce the 2017 tax levy in a certain manner according to the provisions of the tax cap, separate calculation for village and library levy. Agenda item number 5, ordinance 17-2908, directing the Cook County Clerk's Office to reduce the 2017 tax levy in a certain manner according to the provisions of the tax cap. Agenda item number 7, ordinance 172909, levying taxes on real property within the Village of Western Springs, Cook County, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2018, and ending December 31st, 2018, the 2017 tax levy. Agenda item number 7, ordinance 17-2910, abating the tax heretofore levied for the tax year 2017 to pay the principal of and the interest on $1,770,000 general obligation refunding bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2012A of the Village of Western Springs, Cook County, Illinois. Agenda item number 8, ordinance number 17-2911, abating the tax heretofore levied for the tax year 2017 to pay the principal of and the interest on $1,555,000 general obligation refunding bonds, waterworks and sewers system, alternate revenue source, Series 2012B of the Village of Western Springs, Cook County, Illinois. Agenda item number 9, ordinance 17-2912, abating the tax heretofore levied for the tax year 2017 to pay the principal of and interest on $3 million general obligation bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2015A of the Village of Western Springs, Cook County, Illinois. Agenda item number 10, resolution 17-2415, approving the Western Springs operating budget for fiscal year ending December 31st, 2018. Agenda item number 11, resolution number 17-2416, approving a budget amendment and transfers over $10,000 to the fiscal year 2017 operating budget in the general fund. Agenda item number 12, motion to approve the appointment of Thomas Breshka as adjudication officer for the Village of Western Springs effective January 1st, 2018. Agenda item number 13, motion to approve the appointment of Aaron Piotrowski as a member of the Recreation Commission for a 3-year term to expire in December 2020.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, Clerk Fitzgerald, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Certainly, Madam President. Trustee Hansen?
Aye.
Trustee Timmick?
Aye.
Trustee Allen?
Aye.
Trustee Rudolph?
Aye.
Trustee Sifferman?
Aye.
Trustee Terrell?
Aye.
All in favor.
And me.
President Gallagher?
Aye. And then the omnibus vote carries. Thank you. Moving on to our reports, the monthly financial report, Trustee Rudolph.
Yes, thank you, President Gallagher. The November monthly report will be presented in our January meeting.
Thank you. For my report, it's just hard to believe we're saying goodbye to yet another year. Seems like we just started. But I want to thank staff and the board for your hard work and dedication throughout 2017. We've laid the groundwork for a very productive 2018. And with a focus on present issues and an eye toward future opportunities, I'm looking forward to reconvening in the new year. In the meanwhile, though, I wish our residents and their loved ones a very joyous holiday and health and happiness in the new year. And now, Village Manager Belkney.
Very well said, and thank you very much. And on behalf of village staff, we would also like to wish everyone happy holidays and a prosperous new year.
Thank you. Village Attorney Jurusik.
Just the same thing, safe and happy holidays for everybody.
Thank you. We have a closed session tonight for the purpose of discussing the purchase or lease of real property for use by the village. So we will recess to closed session. When we return, we will not discuss any further business. The only point of business when we return is to adjourn. So may I please have a motion to recess?
I'll make a motion to recess to a closed session for the purpose of discussing the purchase of or lease of real property for use by the village.
Oh, second.
Thank you. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Hansen?
Aye.
Trustee Timmick?
Aye.
Trustee Allen?
Aye.
Trustee Rudolph?
Aye.
Trustee Sifferman?
Aye.
Trustee Tyrrell?
Aye.
All in favor.
Thank you. The motion carries, and we will now recess to close session. Good evening, everyone.